Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about the Tombow Fashion Illustration Palette that is exclusive to Michaels. So let's jump right into the review and get to swatching. First off, this palette is a palette of 10 colors that contains all 10 individual colors. This is not a palette that includes a blender, so you will get an individual color for every marker. Now, one thing I did notice is that when I tried to link this palette from Michaels' website, it was no longer listed as available. However, in store, I did find them in several stores, so I know that you can find this out there. The first color you saw was Light Sand in number 990, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a very light beige color with a lot of warm undertones. The second color is Dusty Rose in 772. You may have this color from other palettes because it was previously called Blush, but they have recently changed the name. The next shade that we have is Gray Green and number 228, and this is one of my favorite greens in Tombow's lineup. It's just a really nice, sophisticated, cool toned green, and my marker is personally kind of frayed, so obviously if you buy yours new, it won't look that frayed. Next, we have a brighter blue in this palette, which is called True Blue and number 526, and this is like a nice darkened yet still vibrant blue. Next, we have a very dark color in 569 Jet Blue, and this is very much like dark denim jeans. It's kind of like a blackened purpley blue. It's actually really pretty. Next, we have a bright red color in Crimson, number 847, and this is a beautiful red. It's very cool toned. It's like a more sophisticated take on red. And next we have number 606 Violet. This is a very cool blue leaning violet, yet it is much more purpley and brighter than that jet blue color. Next we have number 879, simply known as brown, and it's exactly what you would expect. It's a very middle ground, more leaning in the cool direction brown color. Next we have Cool Gray number 1 in number N95, and I really like this color because it's something that you can really use in a versatile way. And the last color we have is Lamp Black, and I believe it's N25. And this is a very standard black color that comes in quite a few palettes from Tombow. So here you have the rapid fire look at the palette as a whole. As you can see, this palette is kind of like a cool toned, muted take on basics, which I actually kind of find to be quite nice. And it makes sense if you do like fashion illustration to have these colors, because you do want those basics, brown, grays, blacks, and blues, as well as some of those other tones that they've thrown in that you can kind of mix around and use to create new tones. So I think if you're looking for more basic colors, but you're not really someone who likes your primary basic tones, this could be really good for you. So let's jump into an actual demo of how I would use these markers. So the first thing I did is lettering, because that is what I do the most with these markers. So it was near Valentine's Day, and I thought this pink and red looked really nice together. So I decided to do some blending. And one of the easiest ways that I find to blend colors with Tombow markers is to use your lighter color as your lettering skeleton, and then to take the bullet tip of your darker color to create your outline, so you have nice crisp outlines, and then use that lighter color to blend those colors together to create that gradient that a lot of us really enjoy. I didn't have any problems blending these two colors. I found that they worked really nicely together. These would be great colors to create ribbon lettering. I think that if you enjoy that style, these would also be a great combination for that. And yeah, overall, I just found that these worked really nicely together and the process went well. Another tip I'll give you for blending your lettering is to have your two colors readily available in your hand so you can quickly switch back and forth between your markers and just work on one stroke at a time, and that way you don't have any issues blending your colors because they've settled too much into the page. So I grabbed my lamp black shade and added the B part of the sentiment in just some really simple whimsical sans serif lettering. And then I decided to add a very close drop shadow. Eventually I decided to go ahead and outline the entire thing in this black marker, but at first you'll see me doing the drop shadow before I decide to go ahead and add that entire outline. Once I added that outline for contrast, I grabbed the cool gray marker and added a thicker drop shadow that was very light and faint, but really helped it pop off the page. Especially in real life, you could see it quite clearly, and it just really added a nice element to the lettering. I really like this shade of gray because it's like the perfect shade for shadows. It's not too dark, it's not overwhelming, but it just adds the right amount of contrast. So for me, it's one of those basics that I really like having in my arsenal. So I just decided to play with some of the other colors. I am personally not a fashion illustrator, unfortunately. I wish I could. So I just doodled things that I knew I would naturally do. So of course I went straight to botanicals, and I'm using that gray-green color just to create some leaf shapes and a branch. And I'll play with some different illustrations that I'm a bit more comfortable and familiar with, along with some attempts at things that other people do much better than I. So here was my attempt at some blue jeans. It was a pretty miserable attempt, but it was also fun. And you know, don't take yourself too seriously when you're doing art. It's sometimes fun to loosen up and try new things. You learn. And I learned that it was fun, and I had a quick little experience with that, but I went right back to my florals because that is what I tend to practice the most and have a little bit more ease in drawing. So I grabbed that violet shade and added some easy marker florals and just played around with creating some florals and botanicals with these different markers. I grabbed that gray-green shade again to do my stem, and then I used that light sand color at first, but it just wasn't enough contrast, so I added the brown and got some nice stamen and shadows in my florals there. And I liked the brown because it wasn't as harsh as the black, but it still added plenty of contrast. And then I used that black to create those stronger stamen in that side flower. Next, I decided to create a little bit of a bouquet, and I just used pretty much all of the colors at this point. And I just blended those colors with each other just like I did in my lettering, and then created some leaves and laurels and so on. Like I said at the end of swatching, I think this is a great palette for people who want basics, but not your traditional basics. You get everything that you need, but you get them in a sophisticated, a little bit more cool leaning palette that allows you to have what you need to create things that most of the time you are going to gravitate towards, and yet it's fresh, it's new, and it's all in that great Tombow marker format, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. So let me know, did you guys pick up this palette? Will you? What's your favorite color? And let me know what you would like to see from me in the future. Be sure to subscribe and stay a while, and give me a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. Bye!